Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. The Honorable Member for Vubwi.
Thank you so very much, Madam Speaker, for the chance given to the good people of Vubwi. I honor the Vice President. I think government since 2022 has been pronouncing to finish most of the projects which are at 80%. And some of these projects include the hospital which we have in Vubu and in many, many areas across the country. But I think since then, these projects are not being completed. I wanted to find out on the position of government on maybe why the projects are delayed. I thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Vubwi for that question and concern about many, I think that's what he says, infrastructure that had not been completed before we came into office. And he says they are not completed. I think it is important, Madam Speaker, to take note that maybe not all, but a number, many of them have been completed, and the program continues for us to complete. Before we start new ones, we want to see that we complete the ones that had been started by our colleagues. I know there was a time when there was a kind of mockery that we are only commissioning, completing those that we found. That is the way it is. We still believe in that direction, that we have to complete those that we have started because it is still government. If yours is not done, I'm sure it will be done. I don't think we gave a time frame that we will complete by this particular time, but we will continue with that program. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Her Honor, the Vice President. The exchange rate, foreign exchange rate, keeps on, the kwacha keeps on depreciating, and the foreign exchange rate keeps on rising, meaning it is unstable. I would like to find out from you, Her Honor the Vice President, the measures that the government is putting in place to ensure that we stabilize the exchange rate. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Chinsali. Whatever is in his mind, I think this question would properly be answered by the Minister of Finance. I am just talking about my capabilities of explaining the issues. But I think for a while we have been quite stable. Yes, there is need. I know there are many ways in which you can stabilize, but the most important, without going into academics and how things are done, monetary issues that people are putting in place, from the political point, is that we need to grow the economy and be competitive at the international market so that we are able to earn. We are able to earn forex. Then it makes our kwacha stronger. But as to the, to the way, the methods that are used, I think I wouldn't want to touch there. I will allow the Honorable Minister, if you want a little more comprehensive answer, the Minister of Finance can come with a full statement. That will be helpful. I don't think I'll be helpful to you, that question. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member from Kaika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to ask Her Honor, the Vice President, a question. Honor, opposition is very key in a growing democracy like Zambia. Madam Speaker, you remember that the MMD that time, PF was in opposition. They did very well because the PF by then used to provide good opposition. We also saw when PF was in power, the UPND offered good opposition. And we saw how the PF did very well in terms of infrastructure development. But to the contrary now, Madam Speaker, we have seen, this is evidenced by one of the ministers who says that PF is gone for gold. Madam Speaker, this is really sad because I expect the UPND to protect this opposition because it is from the opposition that they'll be able to deliver.
Order.
My question to Her Honor the
Please
Vice
ask
President.
your question, yes.
Do you want to make this state as a one-party state? Thank you so much, Madam.
Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member from Kaika for this question, which he premises on the past. I think if I followed him, he talked of MMD in power and PF in opposition. If I heard him right, he said PF provided good opposition. When they came into government, he says, UPND provided good opposition. Now, UPND is in power. Is PF providing good opposition? I am just following what he said. I hope I'm not misquoting you. I think the last question, therefore, is a misfit in this scenario as to whether UPND wants to be one-party state. Not at all. We are a democratic party, and we want democracy. And indeed, like you started, the opposition becomes very important in a democracy. But it's never the ruling party that provides for the opposition. From what you have said, PF, for example, which is back in opposition, was in opposition and provided good opposition. So why is it failing to provide good opposition if they are failing? Why? Why? Is it because we still, not we, I'm not part of we, is it still that there is a hangover there of having been in government? And I'm just answering. Is it because there is a hangover, Honorable Member Mukushi South, of having been in government? It may be difficult. Because remember, when PF was in government, it was not only UPND. MMD was also in opposition. Did they provide good opposition? How many MMD are here? No, I am not MMD. I am UPND. Let us talk. This is a very important house to bring out issues. There are people there who were in MMD, but they are not MMD. I can point my members in MMD. So let us not talk about who has moved from where. That is why we should remain Zambians, because we still change. One time we were all UNIP. You were not born. You were not born, sir. because it was compelling. It was because we had no option. So you were unique, whether confessed or not. But what I'm saying is, providing good opposition is up to the opposition. But if we remain still hanging, thinking we will still be, we are still the ruling, then you lose it. Where I have said, where is MMD? Well, they are no longer there. They have disappeared into PF or UPND like me. So it's up to the opposition to want to remain relevant. Otherwise, relevant out there, that is not good enough. So are you providing good opposition? You used a very good phrase, good opposition. We are in government and we will continue and we want to grow and grow unless you give us a space. It's not us. Zambians will decide one party, but we don't want to go that way. That's why we say provide good opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nalolo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Your Honor, the Vice President. Your Honor, the Vice President, corruption remains a cancer that erodes the very fabric of our nation. The Anti-Corruption Commission of Zambia has done a very bad job in concluding cases on current corruption. And I want to give you an example. Your Honor, the Vice President, on 9th August 2022, former PS of Health, Dr. Magwende, appeared before the Anti-Corruption Commission to be investigated for an irregular contract of $100 million, which the Ministry of Health irregularly awarded a contract to TFM to construct fabricated hospitals. Your Honor, the Vice President, today is November 2024. There has not been closure on that case. My question to you is that what are you doing as a government to give credibility to this institution, considering that it has demonstrated that it can investigate a case for 2 years? I would like to thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you very much. I agree with you that cancer erodes the very fabric of any society. It's a cancer, and therefore nobody wants a cancer. Nobody wants cancer in any form. And we should all stand and fight against corruption. So I totally agree with you. Now, maybe I wasn't listening, strongly. You talk of a case of a former permanent secretary. Who was he arrested? Did you say he was arrested or he was fired? He was fired, not arrested. Was he arrested? No. I have to know what I'm talking
I think what the Honorable Member was saying was that he was fired and appeared before the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is true. Fired, appeared, and investigation. It's not all investigations, and I think I have personally spoken to SCC. It's important, and even here I've brought statements here that it is not all cases that are investigated that end up in court. That's why I said, was he arrested? That is a fact. The fact that there is an allegation on me that I'm corrupt will definitely call upon SCC to investigate, and they will call me. But they may find that Landa, my son, they will find that Ndiwaka Hele. That's what he shouts. If they find, if SCC in their investigation find that actually what people are saying is not true, will it go to court? It may not see the court. So this is the way I understand. SCC will investigate. When they find no case, it dies there. But if there is a case, they have evidence, because that's the purpose of investigation, then it will proceed to the courts of law. I cannot answer directly on a particular case that was given as an example, because I don't know the detail to that. But this is the general, process. If anybody is alleged to be involved, they will be investigated. If no case is found, no evidence is found, it dies there. So maybe this one is dead. But you said investigations for 2 years. I don't know whether you are aware that the investigations are going on. I would need to be informed by SCC. As I am here, my imagination is that probably they found no evidence, but maybe administratively there was something wrong, and the employer didn't think that they needed to keep him. There are issues that you can do wrong, but they are not really a matter of criminality, and you still lose your job. I think that's what I would say. Thank you, Madam.
Honor used the word etemu, wakayele. I don't know, what does it mean?
Madam Speaker, thank you. When that man shouts, it means you are innocent. If they find me innocent, they will not take me to court.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member Fonkana, please stop shouting over and debating while you are seated. It's unbecoming of an honorable member. The honorable member for Mukushi South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, good morning. I know that you are a Reverend, Bishop or Reverend. Madam Speaker, ECZ have announced the by-election for Kawambwa, ignoring a stay that was given in Chinsari by a High Court judge. You sent the police to go and surround the Pop Square when we had the memorial service for the late president for PF, Mr. Michael Chirusiasad. You sent the police to go and surround the church in Ndola when there was a rumor that Edgar Lungu is going to be worshiping at the Catholic Church. Your Honor, the Vice President, is this lawlessness that you are promoting, or you are promoting democracy? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
I don't know, Madam Speaker, thank you. And I would like to thank that honorable member. Good morning, honorable member from Kushi South. The problem is putting things like this. It is very easy for me to just answer the last one, to say, no, we are a law-abiding government that follows the rule of law. That is a fact. Except he started by referring, Madam, to the by-election, which he alleges. Are you implying that this is unlawful? That there is a by-election against a stay? You are implying that this is unlawful, because I think that's where you are trying to direct it. No, we are law-abiding, and we have said we will ensure there is rule of law. That includes even in this matter. I'll say something, Madam Speaker, not to put the Parliament on the spot, but it is reality that Electoral Commission which is an autonomous body, has not been given a stay. There is no stay for them to start with to stop the elections. Yeah. Sorry, Madam Speaker, I'll try to explain the way I understand. If there is no stay against the Electoral Commission, which has its own process, yes, by law, when there is a vacancy, they are informed. This morning, the Speaker told us that she has a duty to inform. They will do nothing until they are informed. And when they are informed, let us listen, counsels there. I see lawyers pulling their faces, and even student lawyers, counsel. There is nothing notifying the Electoral Commission. What is there is between those that find the vacancy, who have notified that institution that there is a vacancy here. So why do you want to say there is a stay? And even with that, there is a constitutional court decision, a recent one, Honorable, in Kabwe, over Kabwe Councillor. Nothing can stop the Electoral Commission from going ahead with their processes. Nobody has put a stay on the Electoral Commission Council. So, Honorable Member for Mukushi, that is the situation. They have on their records vacancy, and they are going right ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Madam Speaker, I'm so grateful this morning, and I honor the Vice President. Good morning. I honor the Vice President. There's a perception being created. Whenever there is meal to be sold, called Eagle meal, meal, being produced by ZNS, you find a lot of queues. People are queuing everywhere. And I honor the Vice President. It really beats me a lot to see people fighting for meal. What is it that you are doing to try and minimize these queues? Because for me, it appears like you've just chosen certain shops where this commodity can be found. What is it that we can do? Because we are creating a very bad perception to outsiders who are seeing these queues. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And good morning, Honorable Member for Chitambo. The perception, I don't know which perception we would want to cure there. You are saying there is always fighting, and there are selective shops where ego milling, which is the ZNS milling, is sold. I think that's what you said. That is the perception. You are not given...
Honorable Member for Chitambo, just sit, take your seat so that the owner can answer your question.
I will answer the way I understood it. Yes, Madam Speaker. The Honorable is talking of creating a perception. The ego milling, that is the milling that is done by ZNS. And there are also other millers that are also providing meal. Maybe people don't know which shops or things like that, but that is the truth. The meal from ego milling or from ZNS, people fight for it because it is cheaper. But I think it is important that people know that there are other shops where even other milling, other meal can be found. Yes, there are selective shops. They can't provide in every shop. So there are selective shops where these are sold. That is what is happening. But why should people, hoping that you are speaking for Chitambo, why should people of Chitambo fight for Igor Melemeo? When in fact, our advice is that in Chitambo, we must have community maize sales under FRA. That is, encourage them to get maize, which is one, cheaper, and they will mill at at affordable cost and in the manner that they want it. It will end up to be even healthier. Let us together encourage people. They don't have to wait. They don't have to wait for ego milling. There is maize. You buy maize and mill it. 50 kg, you mill it at a hammer mill, it will produce 48 kg, which is better, the cost and everything better than waiting for that. So it is not the only source. People can find another cheaper source, which is maize, which is available countrywide. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mangango.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, thank you so much for your hardworking government, the new Dawn UPND government, the entire government for their new good policies that has brought unprecedented economic development in Zambia, regardless of the political party that a parliamentarian belongs to. Your Honor, the new Dawn government is doing wonders. Your Honor, the Tateoyo Katunda Road is already being worked on, and works are progressing very well. That stretch, Your Honor, was not done by the previous regime. In simple terms, PF failed to work on that stretch, in spite of promising various promises to work on that stretch, but it failed. Your Honor, from Tateoyo to Katunda, the government promised that it will now work on Katunda Lukulu Watopa Road, which everyone in Mangango, Kaoma, Lukulu, Mitete, Watopa have hope on as regards to economic development, because a good road network is the first infrastructure that can bring investors in an area. My question, Your Honor, is when is our very good and hardworking government going to start our construction of the Katunda Lukulu Watopa Road? I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Member for Mangango for this indeed question, and premising it on the fact that this government has worked very hard. They have good policies that are helping in bringing development to Zambia. But your concern is the Katunda, Tateyoyo, Lukulu Watopa Road. When will it be done? Maybe the question would be, when will it be completed? Because I thought, I could be wrong, that there was even the groundbreaking and the starting of this road. Was it from Tateyoyo, Madam Speaker? Maybe it is the completion. Maybe I don't have enough information, but this road has already, the work has started on this road, going all the way to Watopa, hopefully. So this is what is going on. Indeed, money has to be looked for. But this project has started. You can be rest assured, Honorable, that this government will continue to provide the services that it promised it would do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kabwe Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to ask Her Honor the Vice President the question. Good morning, Her Honor the Vice President. Madam Speaker, I want to say thank you so much, the New Dawn government, for the many mitigation programs and projects that they are doing to mitigate the power shortages in the country. Among others, of course, we saw the commissioning of the Mamba Korea's 300 megawatt. Right now, Kabwe is doing preparations under Murungushi Textiles to do 100 megawatts solar plant. And also we saw Chisamba, which I'm hopeful it is already commissioned or is about to be commissioned. Yesterday we saw the Minister of Energy, the mini grid. I think they were doing it in Eastern Province. And also the promise that EU will do 25 megawatts in the Western Province, and many other projects that are coming on. Despite all these, we have heard sentiments that the government has not provided for in the budget to mitigate the power shortages. So, Her Honor the Vice President, we want maybe to help us to tell the nation what measures the government is doing. I know that you are equal to the task and you have done a lot in issue to mitigate the power shortages, just to make sure that the nation is put to the speed. They do not take negative sentiments that you are not doing anything. We have the privilege of you at least telling the nation what the New Dawn government is doing in this regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good morning, Honorable Member for Kabwe Central. Thank you for the greeting. I think the Honorable wants me to make a comment on what is happening. I think it is important that all of us understand where we are and why we are in this space, particularly concerning energy sector, power, in particular, electricity. We are in a space that nobody would want to be in. I will still repeat things that we have said because she has asked me to speak to government. We took a long time. We have been dependent. I think yesterday I heard one member debating that we actually are 85% power dependent on hydropower. That we have had not much investment in the energy from UNIP time. I think all of us must understand that as a nation, we didn't invest much in the energy sector. And we have been caught up, not just because of the growing economy, the growing industry that needs energy, not only, but that is part of it. But also, we have been caught up because of the climate change, the drought that has hit us, unprecedented drought that has hit us. And here we are. It is wrong for anybody, therefore, to finger point at a government that has been in power 3 years and a few months when you were in power 20 years, 27 years, 10 years. It is a situation that has found us. But what I would like to say is, like the President of the Republic of Zambia says, this terrible situation can be and is an opportunity for us to wake up and do what we must do to ensure that we have enough power. By looking at the different alternative energy sources, other than just being dependent on hydropower. Even the hydropower was not fully developed because there are still many areas that we could have developed. So nobody should point at this government. It is a legacy issue as a government. But this government, yes, is crying because people are crying. But what the Honorable has referred to, Madam, shows that a lot is being done in this sector. That is why the rains have just started in earnest this week. But we went down to 2 hours of power provision in many places. But we have improved. Energy is not here. We have improved the number of hours. Where is the improvement coming from? Yes, it may come from the import. But more, this government is working to ensure that we can develop other alternative sources of power. She mentioned the Mamba. We are growing there. There is a project there to increase power to 300, is it, which it's mega, yeah, before I say kilo, megawatts to improve on the power provision. I can mention the Cabo, I can mention Zambia, I can mention many other places, but generally we are trying to ensure that we can leverage on solar. Solar, and we are doing it now. Of course, we will still have to work on infrastructure for distribution. We have all these in the plans so that the coverage and the amount of power goes. It is wrong, Madam Speaker, for anybody, and I don't think anybody should stand anywhere and then shamelessly say this government is doing nothing, because this government is doing a lot, and we believe that we will overcome this particular challenge which has hit us. Even when hydropower is resuscitated because water comes back, God giving us power, I am still talking, why is he thanking me? Yeah. We will still continue on this trajectory to ensure that we can provide alternative sources of power, that we should not once again fall into this trap. Thank you for that question. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Zambia. One Zambia, one nation. One nation, one people. Your Honor, the Vice President, 3 years has passed from 2021 August. In these 3 years, I would want you to comment on the state of affairs in relation to the retirement which used to take place in the last regime of civil servants on national interest. How many so far of the civil servants in Zambia have been retired without explanation on national interest? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Kalabo, who I think was in his question addressing it to the Vice President, so that the Honorable Member from Mkushi has no doubt of who I am as I stand here. Because I saw him struggle, whether I was Bishop, Reverend, I am everything, but here I'm Vice President. Thank you so much, Honorable Member. You have said 3 years since this government came into place or was put in place. And the question is, how many people have been retired in national interest? National interest. I think I would have asked for help if here people want help, because we saw a lot of people retired in national interest. I would have asked the Honorable Member for Chama North, who is looking at me, to describe national interest and public interest, because they are not the same. You don't retire a person who has done nothing in public interest. That goes through processes. Now, people are being retired in national interest. I don't know what that meant, because these people were not reassigned. Normally, national interest is reassignment into something else. You cannot go back to what you are doing. Therefore, you are retired and appointed elsewhere for the good of the nation. Now, people are being retired, go home. National interest. Which national interest is that? Council. Which national interest is that? Since we came into office, Madam Speaker, as far as I know, standing here, nobody has been retired in national interest.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Lunte.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity. Your Honor, the Vice President, it is very clear that the UPND government has abandoned the fight against corruption. Madam Speaker, through you, Your Honor, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Nalolo stated his fears with the Anti-Corruption Commission. I don't know if you know, Your Honor, that there is no chief executive officer at SEC, and that your government dissolved the board at the Anti-Corruption Commission. Madam, what is happening at SEC is exactly what is happening at the Auditor General's office. Yeah. Dr. Ron Mwambwa has been illegally in that office for a long time, overage. His two deputies are in acting position ever since you assumed office. These are watchdog institutions. Given that you have destroyed the efficacy of watchdog institutions such as SEC and Auditor General, would you still maintain that you are still fighting corruption? Yeah. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Lunte. The Honorable Member for Lunte says we have squandered, did you use that word? The fight against corruption. Not at all. In fact, I thought the cry would be the other way around, that we are fighting too much. I thought you would. So I'm happy that you are still comfortable with the fight against corruption. But yes, because we are fighting corruption. We continue to fight. We have not destroyed the efficacy, madam. The fact that you feel that Dr. Mwambwa cannot perform, I don't know. We have talked about this issue here many times. Dr. Mwambwa, the other young lady at SCC who are acting are doing a great job. It has nothing to do, it says something else, but it has nothing to do with the work that they're doing. You continuously receive reports here through my office from the Auditor General. Yeah. Are you saying those audits have queries by yourselves? You think they are not good? You sit, you go through, the reports are up to date, the reports are bringing out the issues as they ought. So how are we squandering it? SCC is still doing its work. The question that the Honorable Member for Nalolo asked actually referred to a matter of 2 years ago. But even then, there was a chief executive there. But the work, even up to now, with the acting chief executive, the work is going on. We will continue to fight. We will continue, Madam Speaker, to fight corruption and bring it to some kind of level in the courts of law where it is necessary. These matters will be concluded. That's why we have even, which court, that one we have developed, economic, yes, and financial crimes court, so that we can quickly deal with these matters, particularly that corruption which has to do with finances. We are working. The efficacy still remains strong, and please stay away from corruption, because it will surely catch up. I am speaking to the people, not, oh, sorry, I'll use another phrase. Sit down, member. Honorable. When you ask me, I speak to the public through you. So maybe let me say, through the honorable member, particularly through Madam Speaker, all of us must stay away from corruption. Under this government, you will be found, you will be dealt with. And I said it before in here, colleagues, umulandu taubola. And there was interpretation that a case never wrote. But I am sure there is a legal language to that matter. Criminality will always be followed. So, yes, that's what I said. It will not rot. So, let us not take advantage. If you commit a crime, that's why we have to strengthen the laws here, so that the other place, they say, your sin, where you tried to put me, your sin shall surely find you out. Thank you.
On that note, we come to the end of Her Honor the Vice President's question with the advice, let's keep away from corruption. There is an indication for a point of order. What's the point of order, Honorable Member from Kana?
Madam Speaker, the rules of the House does not permit us to raise points of orders during the Vice President's question time. I would like to rise on Standing Order 71. Madam Speaker, the law of the land dictates that for constitutional offices, one cannot act if they do not qualify to be appointed as such. I am here confused that the Vice President has justified the acting of the Auditor General, who, by the Constitution, does not qualify to even be appointed. Because in her response, she intimates that even if she is not substantively appointed, we still read his reports. In essence, she's justifying the holding of a position of a person who constitutionally is not qualified even to act. Madam Speaker, is the Vice President in order to place it on record and rub it in our faces that we have a man who is illegally in an office that he does not even qualify to hold by the Constitution? I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member Fonkana now is presenting legal arguments in the point of order, and there is no supporting authority to back his argument. And since he has sufficiently argued his point of order, we will leave it as that. The point of order is not admitted. Maybe you need to consult some legal gurus on who is qualified to act in terms of constitutional office holders.